Since travelling's now starting to be a thing again, I thought I would prep those of you that want to come to Scotland. I used to make Scots Words videos all the time, and it's how my channel started growing, and I haven't done a video like this in a long time. It's long overdue. So we're going to go back to basics here. If you want to see any of my previous Scots Words videos, I'll put them all in a playlist, and I'll put the playlist in the description. Also, in some of the older videos, I used to call Scots Words slang, Scottish slang, and I used to always put Scottish words in the title rather than Scots Words, because Scottish and slang got more views, it got more clicks, but no, they're Scots words. There is a difference. That could be a whole other video in itself about Scots being a language, but okay. Scots Words have taken the internet by storm, mainly because of the amazing Lenny Saurus. You'll know her as the girl who does the Scots Word of the Day videos on Twitter and TikTok. I love her, she's amazing. She is now the queen of Scots Words. I'm not trying to like step on her toes here, but I thought I would just refresh some of my content and do things I used to do because they were fun. I love doing Scots Words videos, so that's what this is, obviously. Here are some Scots words that I would argue are the most useful, or some of the most useful, when visiting Scotland. If you learn these words, you are jamming. They might not be the most used words if you're from Scotland in your area, but I hear these all the time in my area. I live in Western Bartonshire. That's why I've included these words in this video, because these are the ones that I hear the most. Those who've watched me for a long time will probably have heard these words before in past videos, but here's a refresher before I go into the words. If you're new to my channel, I'm Erin. I make videos about Scotland, the outdoors, sometimes creepy things, sometimes periods, sometimes Scottish gin, sometimes mental health, and life. A lot of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed, so you should subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Useful Scots words, here we are. The first ones might seem really obvious, and I feel like most people will know them anyway, or you'll be able to figure some of these out just by listening to them and it'll just click. But I thought I would include them anyway because you'll hear them regularly, and some people might visit and at first be like, what are these people saying? So the first words that I'm going to mention are aye and no. Very simple words. Aye means yes, and no, of course, means no. We say these words all the time. You will hear these words all the time in Scotland. I never say yes. I say yeah quite a lot, but I say aye probably even more than I would say yeah. Great words. We also has to be included because we use we all the time. All the time. We means small, but a lot of the times as well we don't actually use it to mean small. We slip it in sentences constantly. So I would say, I'm having a wee sandwich. I'm not actually having a tiny sandwich, I'm just having a wee sandwich. We just slip it in, you know, so you will hear this word all the time. It doesn't literally mean small all the time, but a lot of times it does, like, oh, there's a wee mouse, I've got a wee bit of a headache, you know, stuff like that. Take a lot of what we say with a pinch of salt, with a wee pinch of salt. Like, I could be eating a massive sandwich and I would still say I'm having a wee sandwich. Another one that I hear regularly, lassie, and that means girl. I say lassie quite a lot. I would just say it casually, like, I was talking to this lassie the other day, you know, but I would never say laddie. Laddie is one that I don't really hear very often. You might hear that in other places around Scotland, but here, where I live, only really lassie is used, and not to mean the dog, but you know. Greet is one that I both hear regularly and one that I've mentioned countless times in past videos. Greet I use all the time as well. It means to cry. Previously when I've mentioned this word, people from like the US have said, in my country, greet actually means to say hello to someone, and I'm like, well, it means that here as well. Like, we have multiple words for different things, but greet as well as like to greet someone, it also means here to cry. I'll sometimes say it as a joke, like to my friend, like, oh, why are you greeting? If she's just moaning, or if she's not actually greeting, but I'll just say it as a joke, like, why are you greeting? As a bit of banter, you know. But greet normally means to cry, but also I would say it as in, like, if someone's moaning or if someone's like whining, I'd be like, stop greeting. Peace is another one, and not like peace, and not like a piece of something. Piece to mean sandwich. I say this quite often as well, like a piece and ham, or a cheese piece, sandwich and ham, cheese sandwich. Another food related one, tatties or totties. You might hear them interchangeably. I would probably say tatties more than totties. Mince and tatties, mince and potatoes. Tatties is just potatoes. It's a great word. You'll hear that one regularly as well, probably all over. Brilliant word. You might also say that you'll hear it hunners. Hunners is another word that I say occasionally. Hunners means hundreds. It's a unit of measurement. I hear that a lot. I hear that hunners. I've been there hunners of times. I've been there hundreds of times. It just means hundreds, but it's used as like, you know, in that way. Hunners of people have said, you know. What I'm doing right now is the next word. I'm blethering. A blether is a chat. If someone, a lot of times blethering's used like havering, you know, like in the song 500 Miles. Haver means to talk nonsense, you're just havering. Blether is, it can be used like that, but blether also is often used as just a chat. Like I would say, I met so-and-so in the street and we had a blether. Like I would say that. I normally use blether to mean a conversation rather than to talk nonsense, but a lot of the time a blether is just a nonsensical chat. You're having a chat about nothing, you're having a blether. But even if I'm having a catch up with someone, if I meet a friend in the street, I will say we had a blether. So I would personally use it to mean a chat or a conversation, but it can also be meant, you know, as in like to blether away, to talk nonsense. You might hear this one fairly often, and it is police. I'm going to phone the police. I'm going to phone the police. In this one I'm going to mention, I had to include it because it's very, very important, and probably the most important Scots word that you'll ever hear, and that is Jobby. A Jobby is a poop, a poo, a tolly. That's another word for poop actually. I think that's a Scottish word as well, tolly. Anyway, and a lot of times in England you'll hear this word to mean a thing, like oh pass me the wee Jobby, and the Scots are laughing at yous over here. A Jobby comes out your bumhole. Usually. Sometimes people can talk jobbies, but I wouldn't say that. But you know what I'm saying. And I was only going to do 10 before I moved on to something else, but I had to include the word gubbed because I say gubbed all the time. I would say gubbed to mean tired, so if I'm feeling gubbed, I'm tired. I would say, God, I'm gubbed after that shift or something, you know, but gubbed can also mean that something's not working. So if my fridge is gubbed, my fridge isn't working. Very simple, but very common word. Other words that I want to include in this that are very basic, that I originally in the past thought was Scottish slang, but these are actually Scots words. Interesting stuff. These are in the Scots dictionary, but also ones that you'll hear all the time when you come here. So very simply, you'll have heard me saying this constantly. To mean I. So I went to the shop, I went to the pictures. Oh, pictures means cinema. See, there's so many that we just use and we don't even think of. But I did this, I did that. I would never say I went to the shop. Like, it doesn't come naturally to me. A lot of people do say I, obviously, but I would always say I would say I. See, you'll hear that all the time. And it's the same with the word am. I am. I'm going to the shop. I'm going outside. Am is just the exact same. You, it's hard to say that on its own, to mean you. So, are you going out? I would never say, are you going out? I'd say, are you going out? Are ye going out? That means you. Are you going, are you doing that? Like, you know what I mean? It just comes naturally. That's just how I would say you. Sometimes I do say you, like, are you, you know, it's hard to, it just comes in conversation naturally. So that's why I find it quite difficult to pinpoint exactly when and how I would use these words. So again, yous, that's how I would address a group of people. Are yous coming to, and it just means you guys, are you all yous. Yourself, myself, yourself and myself. Speak for yourself, that's what I would say. I wouldn't say speak for yourself, but again, a lot of people would, and it just changes all the time. Are you going with someone? No, I'm going myself. I'm going myself. It's very subtle. It's a very subtle difference, but it's there. No to mean not. I say this quite often as well, so I'm not going. I am not going. I'm not up for that. I'm no up for that. Again, it's a very, very common one that I find it hard to notice when I say it. I'm no. I am not. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. That's another one as well. So doing would be dain. I don't even notice half of these. It was only when I really had to concentrate back in the day to what I was saying that I realised I said these things. Again, doing too would be day and tay. I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to do the dishes. I'm going to the shop. I would say that. I'm going to the shop. I wouldn't say I'm going to the shop. That feels unnatural to me. I'm going to the shop. Are you going to as well? That's another one. To to mean to. Are you going to? But I'm going to the shop is, yeah, to. Canny to mean can't. I can't do that. I cannot do that. I can't think of what that is. I can't think. Willn't, won't. I willn't do that. I won't do that. Shouldn't, very similar words. Shouldn't, shouldn't. Oh, I shouldn't go there. Oh, I shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do that. Gonna, I would say gonna. I'm gonna go to the shop. I'm going to go to the shop. See, all the words come together into one. They come together. Together. That's another one that we say. And one I noticed as well yesterday, I was talking to my English friend and I said to her, the morra, the day. The day means today. The morra means tomorrow. These are just words I never realised were Scottish until it's interesting. Nobody. Nobody. Nobody thinks that. Nobody does that. Want. Want. We're just changing the pronunciation, but it is a Scots word. So I want tatties for my dinner. I want potatoes for my dinner. Very similar ones as well. Wit to mean what. So what are you on about? I would say that. What are you on about? What are you doing? What are you doing? Whiz to mean was. So I was at the shop earlier. I would say that. I was over at so and so's house. Hoose. That's another one. We put like the double O in words a lot. So like tune, doon, about, hoose. See, remember that Scottish advert? There's a moose loose about this house. There's a mouse loose about this house. Wan to mean one. One of these days. One of these days. One of these times you're going to. One of these times you're going to. Off and on. Off and on. On and off. On and off. On and off. Sorry. I don't tend to say off very much. I'm off it. I would say I'm off it if I was going to stop drinking or something, or I'm off to do the whatever, the garden. I'm off to do the garden, meaning gardening work. There's so many variations of all of these words and it's very hard to explain off the top of my head. Aw to mean all these times, all these days, all these people. Again, I would say that as well, probably. All these people are. So all these people are. It's just like, if you come here and you hear people talking like this will help you understand exactly what they're saying. Instead of being like, are they actually saying this and it sounds like this, or are they actually saying that? Hope I'm making sense. Ain to mean own. So I'm going to my ain is the exact same as I'm going myself. I'm going to my ain, I'm going to my own. But I wouldn't say I ain this house. I would say I own, like I wouldn't say it in that way. I would mean it as on my own, not to own something. Baw, ball, kick the ball, kick the ball. Oh my balls, oh my balls. Mom and dad. Again, I know that these are used in other countries as well, but that is what a lot of people say here. My mom said da da da. Auld to mean old. You might have heard that in the context of Auld Reekie, which is another name for Edinburgh, to mean old smoky. So old is just old. A cow would be a coo. I've got a coo's lick up here. I've got a cow lick. And again, something like other ones would be like dug to mean dog. Like, where's your dog? Where's your dog today? It's not a man named Doug, it's just a dog. There's definitely more that I could include, but I don't want to make this video too long. But I hope you've enjoyed this anyway. And what's your favourite Scottish word? If there's any I've missed out, which there will be loads because I can't include them all in one video, then leave them in the comments below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what other kind of words videos or other Scottish videos you want to see. You can follow me on all my social media. I'll link everything down below. I have a Patreon page as well if you want to get involved with that. I'll put the link here and down below. Thanks very much for watching and I'll see you later. Bye.